Mhm. Okay. Uh, is it clear? Everybody can see on screen? Okay, thank you, Jay. Okay, now, okay, thank you, Adriana. Thank you, Hidayati, for responding. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so now, this is your final assessment where um, currently, currently, um, your last assignment was not yet um, this is your last assignment, right? This is your last assignment. The date is on the 23rd, which is you haven't finished doing it, I believe. So just a reminder that it's on the 23rd. On the 23rd. Okay. And initially, what I want to discuss is also about the deadline of this final assessment because initially I wanted it to be on the 23rd as well, but we'll see. Mm. Okay, so this would be the first course learning outcome, which is to demonstrate major characteristics of vowels and consonants with a number of ways of classifying these speech sounds. So basically, this is an assessment on your first number one course learning outcome. So basically, we assess this through your final exam, but since we no longer have final examination, we assess this through final assessment. So now the objective of this assignment, this particular assignment, or which is your last assignment lah, because it can be considered as your last assignment, your task, individual task is to identify pronunciation of consonants or vowels in second language acquisition of the English language from a phonetical and phonological point of view. So if your please bear in mind that some of you might have English language as your first language, but um, you may note that English is your first language, but please note the difference between uh, English language spoken in its native land and English subtle. The differences in subtlety of your pronunciation as compared to the native in spoken in their native land. I mean, received pronunciation or standard British English. Okay. And when you want to identify um, these pronunciations, maybe the differences or the similarities, but usually the similarities we don't take it into consideration because if it is the similarities, then there's no strategies or it doesn't pose any problems, right? So to discuss strategies, the second objective is to discuss strategies taken to overcome the issues discussed. So any issues that you have. Okay, so how do we do in order for us to make sure that the data that you use is measurable and have some sort of validity? Please refrain ataupun limit your timeline ataupun your length of time from when you learned it formally. So it can be when you entered your kindergarten, when you really learn it formally, yeah? When you enter kindergarten or primary one or standard one until present time. So it's quite a long time if you learn, let's say, because why we want it to be formally as well, because usually you remember those formative these formative years during your schooling years, isn't it? So maybe you learn English language and you could remember as early as 3 years old, but you can't remember all. So the memory that I would like, or the experience that I would like you to share with me, is when you formally acquire it, when you are in control of your memory and your learning experience, so that your memory is strong per se. Okay, so yang betul-betul you realize that it was this is what I did before, this is how I pronounce certain consonants and vowels, for instance, maybe because of the differences between Malay language and English language consonants or vowels. So this is what I want you to discuss. Okay, so when you reflect on your own experiences, because everybody comes from different backgrounds, you have different experiences, okay? So every experience, every reflection is unique to your own. So when you share your experience, please don't be lengthy, but each sentence carry a lot of information. Contohnya, what you want to talk about is, yes, you talk about when did you learn English formally, for instance, primary one, or when I was 6 years old during kindergarten, that one that you could remember well, okay? And you could remember what happened during that schooling years, that the initial schooling years. So basically, this is what we want you to reflect on. Um, Instances might be a lot or many, so only choose the best three. Yang rasa paling-paling memberi impak, yang paling memberikan isu. Okay, so I want you to discuss three problems or issues encountered during this long acquisition period, and provide, maybe you did not realize it during your primary school years, but you notice it during your secondary or during your foundation ataupun during your time doing your degree now. So everything must be only on English consonants and vowels, and I don't want you to discuss grammar. Please don't be off topic. I don't want you to discuss grammar. I want you to focus only on English consonants and vowels. The problems that you might encounter when you try to pronounce certain words. And this reflection, please make sure that you accompany it with what is it? What is it that makes it different, or why it poses you a question, a problem? Why it makes you confused, for instance. So these would be the reasons what I'm looking for when you say that this consonant is let's say mispronounced by me for a couple of years until I was in standard 6 contohnya. So why you think that is correct, and why, what happened when what happened that makes you realize that was actually wrong? Ataupun when you learn phonetics and phonology, then you realize that certain ways of you pronouncing vowels, for instance, is wrong. Sebab I is, we pronounce I in bahasa Melayu, huruf I kan huruf, vowel I is I. Tapi even in bahasa Melayu, we have I, we call it E. So it is actually quite similar with English language. So, but certain other vowels uh, are not what it you thought it would sound like, for instance. So that would be some subtle differences ataupun differences. So if you are comparing English language with uh, your first language acquisition, which is your mother tongue, whatever it is, please always compare it with that and the British English, whichever that you would like to compare it. Maybe if English is already your first language, like I said earlier, compare it with the formal British, the standard British English, for instance. And let's say if your first language is Malay, so maybe when you do the comparison, please discuss the L1 as well, the first language acquisition as well, and how you acquire the first might influence second language acquisition. Okay, so three, only choose three problems. Three problems, I don't mind. It can be one consonant and two vowels, or two consonants and one vowel, but I don't want it to be all consonants or all vowels. So try and think, unless you think that no, no more there's no more memory that you could dig, and I think you could dig out. So you think that no, my problem will always be, vowels, there's no consonants problem. So okay lah, at least I would encourage you to come up with a mixture lah, between consonant and vowel. So kalau Roy rasa macam no, my problems will always be, consonants, okay lah, consonant, all three would be consonant. But I would encourage you to have that mixture, consonant and vowel. Okay, so when you present three issues or three problems, I mean, three mispronunciations, for instance, it can be and other things as well. Uh, you must provide three examples. Must provide three examples of how you tackle issue number one. So what is the strategy for issue number one? Strategy number one, strategy number two, strategy number three. To ease my reading and for me not to, have to read your essay a couple of times, to make sure that so we do have marks for organization. That one we'll talk about in a jiffy. So what I want you to pay attention is, uh if you have come up with the strategies, that will be fine. But like I said, like number two, maybe you don't know what to do, or you did not address those problems or those issues up until today. Then you can recommend actions, or you can recommend strategies. You can recommend what could be done in order to counter back the issues. Okay, so three and three, and please, whenever you write or whenever you discuss, please make sure that, like I always do in class, when I want to give you example, you have to accompany your example, means the word or the wording, the spelled word, you must always accompany with phonetic transcription. Kenapa? Bukan phonetic transcription yang dalam kamus tu. Of course, you have to give the phonetic transcription, the correct phonetic transcription, so that I can see where is the issue. More often than not, if I give similar task to your seniors, they might have forgotten to, sometimes when you are in the midst of writing, there's a lot of things that you would like to write in your paper. You might forgotten about it. You might be forgotten about it. But no, Asif, that's why I say if you don't join, then you can just read the guidelines. I hope nobody record as well, because this is exclusive. And I think I've already halfway. Okay, so now, because if you read, you already know, right? I think it's very clear here. So why I'm doing this oral briefing is for me to just, reread it again and just explain it again. So example must be accompanied by phonetic transcription where it's similar to what I did before. Give me the word ataupun the phoneme that poses issues for you. Contohnya during your childhood, for instance, and be um, it must be transcribed um, it must be transcribed in the way you pronounce it. Do you get what I mean? So when you want to point out the issue, then you can compare the standard English or the correct pronunciation, contohnya of that phoneme or that word would be, what is it? The phonetic transcription again. So you need to provide phonetic transcription for your example and for your examples, so that we can see which one. Kalau you bagi I word saja and I don't know how do you mispronounce it ataupun what would be the issue from that wording only. Okay, do you get what I mean? So word count would be yes, Shifa. The word count must be, or you have difficulty. Some might say that lisping will also consider to be a problem. So, lisping, for instance, for consonant is common in the society, for instance, right? So you might have some trouble. Now you have fixed it, or it's unfixed. So how did you do that too? So to counter the problem. So the word count must be between 5 to 600 words. So that ideally it should be a page and a half. Um, I don't want you to ramble much, but rather to for you to read you can still see the guidelines I'm sharing with you, right? If you cannot, please let me know. Okay, because I got notification, unstable internet connection. So the word count is 500 to 600 words. Do not write below 500. So because rugi wording, rugi perkataan. You will waste a lot. You will be missing out a lot when you write less, or you waste a lot of words if you write more because you have provided unnecessary information ataupun you have rambled on uh, un, un, your issues or unnecessary information. So I will definitely on my based on my discretion, um, a maximum of 3 marks will be penalized if the word count is less or more, so the same. So the formatting also is the same. So I will update you right after this session on your Clip so you can access it later. Why I did not share it yet? Because of the deadline that we might want to discuss. So the formatting is the same. I would prefer you to use Arial or Times New Roman, font size 12, spacing 1.5, and please justify your paragraph. Okay, and this is important. Since last week I told you that this will be individual and I don't want anybody to peep on your paper. So everybody must email your completed assignment to this email address that I have created solely for this purpose, which is BIK12203, our course code, ZW, which is my name, Sanira Wahab, at gmail.com. So please, for the reference section, indicate BIK12203 final assessment. Okay, please write as your email subject this BIK12203 final assessment, so that I will definitely not confuse with any other email. Sometimes people email me personally for reasons other than the submission of the assignment. So please, and the usual practice will be, please attach the Word documents, no links to your Word documents, and please do not use PDF version. Only Word document is acceptable. So no links, no PDF version. Please save it as Word doc. Um, Name your Word document with your metric number. Contohnya 0711111 ataupun 070000 dot doc. So it's easier for me when I download, so I can see your metric number and I can cross check with your name list. Okay. Mm. So the the next one is very important as well. Only submit once. Submit once maksudnya email I sekali je. Because whatever you email me for the first time is counted. Only the first submission is accepted. The second one, you said, sorry, madam, I tersalah ni. No, I do not entertain that, and I will only read your first submission because you have, when you want to email it, you have to be careful, and you do have time to check. Kalau dalam final exam pun, you tak boleh minta balik your paper and you cannot ask, can I add something to the submitted document? Okay, so only one. So before you attach and submit, click the button send to. Send button tu before you click it, make sure that you have checked thoroughly, betul tak you punya versi of your document. Sebab sometimes alasan yang selalu I dapat would be, madam, I tersalah hantar the document, it was only the draft. I did not attach my final paper. So I do not accept that. Whatever you send me the first time is counted, is accepted and counted. Okay, so please be extra careful. This is your responsibility to make sure that your submitted work is correct, updated, and dah puas hati baru submit. Okay, you check lah berapa lama because I will give you time. So basically, my initial submission date will be on the 23rd of January, which is this Thursday. So because this is basically your reflection and references or sources. If you want to use articles, is optional. But your your primary source would be definitely your knowledge based on your textbook, isn't it? So maybe you can quote, if you want to quote the textbook or any other articles to prove that that is a valid issue and whatnot. So that will be optional. And well, when you talk about your content, it might give you extra marks, but it's okay if you don't have. Janji semua yang I minta, the three issues, the three suggestions, or the three strategies that you have taken, or at least recommendation if you did not. Let's say out of three issues, ada satu yang you never address it. So you may suggest a way for you that I could have, taken before, or now I can take it now, when after you have learned for instance, or after you realize that that is actually an issue. Uh, so you would like, you can do what you can do. So yes, that is acceptable. So I would um I would like to ask you, number 9, is it okay, is it does it give you ample time for you to do it? This is Sunday, and then you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday before 5. So I think 4 days for you to write on it is acceptable. Can. But I don't know. Any suggestion lah? Any suggestion?
Madam,
Yeah.
can we extend the due date?
Why, Miza? I tak baca pun ni. Oh, but I did answer. I did answer the do we have to have a citation? Citation you, of course, the penghuni tetap citation is the textbook lah. Yes. Actually, no. Whether is okay, the date next week, perhaps. Okay lah. Okay, so this is what I have in mind. So my second suggestion would be you can submit it on the 26th. Is it okay if we do on the 26th of
Yes,
January?
madam.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. So I will definitely amend this to 26th of January. It would be on Sunday before 5 p.m. Before I leave my workplace. So I can start counting before I leave. So I tahu siapa yang tak hantar. But I hope everybody will submit because this is 30%. Sometimes, sometimes I feel charitable enough, or I feel like kesiannya, sayangnya 30 markah. I pula yang rasa sayang 30 markah. 30 markah, no, sorry, 30%. Markah dia banyak, 30% of your overall grade. And I will cross check pula dengan your name list. Saya tengok siapa yang betul-betul yang tak hantar. It takes time. So I hope that everybody could submit it on time. Sebab kadang-kadang ya, tapi I think I have enough exercise over the years uh, to feel less less rasa alah sayangnya. If you don't care about your grades, then who am I to care about your grades? Macam gitu kan. So but I hope that everybody could submit it and submit your paper on time. 30% is quite a lot. Okay. So before 5 p.m. Before 5 p.m. 26th of January, insyaAllah, you will have ample time. Sebab bila you tulis ni, you can just tulis within an hour or so, References, I would really appreciate it if you can at least demonstrate. Maybe because I did not spell it in a black and white, I tak spell it out dalam guidelines. Tapi satu benda yang I would like to reiterate or to highlight would be satu benda yang bila you tulis tiga issues and you tulis tiga examples and you tulis tiga three ways that you have done. I would like to see your reflection to be on the academic side, if you get what I mean. That's why, although it is not required or compulsory for you to have citation, it will greatly, give an impression, a great impression that you are well read, you are a master of your content. Tapi kalau you tak cite pun, the way you approach and present the issues and the suggestions would reflect the way you're thinking, isn't it? Whether you are thinking it based on whatever you have learned throughout 14 weeks prior, which is last semester, ataupun this semester. Last semester you belajar during introduction to languages and linguistics, maybe, or before this. Some of you did your diploma before, or you did your foundation in English in TESOL. So maybe you have learned about phonetics and phonology way earlier than your other classmates. So the way you write, the way you think is reflected in your writing. And your writing reflects your understanding of the topic at hand, which is consonants and vowels. It can be mispronunciations, it can be something else, but it must be under the scope of phonetics and phonology. Mhm. Some of you might want to talk about, we learned about stress placement before. So maybe you would like to talk about stress placement, or you want to talk about allophones. You realize that, for instance, Chinese speakers only realize R and L as two allophones of the same phoneme. So when you discuss that, for instance, if you have that difficulty in that area, you can discuss by talking about, show the proudness of your skills lah, your knowledge, command in this particular knowledge. You may want to talk about that or complementary distribution. You may also want to talk about certain things from in the syllabification form. I don't know. It's up. It's not just mispronunciation. Kalau I takut nanti I bagi contoh mispronunciation, I sebut satu, lepas tu semua tulis pasal mispronunciation saja. It's not. It can be anything. Because pronunciation, of course, it involves consonant only or vowel only or consonant and vowel. So it could be, syllable. It could be as a smallest unit phoneme kan, allophones phoneme, smallest unit. It can be a bigger one. So your example can be in the form of syllable or in the form of full word kan. But definitely, we do not discuss morphology and syntax. Yang tu kita tak discuss. So please, like I said earlier, and I would like to remind you again, sentence structure or grammar is not our interest here. It will be off topic. I will not count the point if it doesn't fit what we want, what we learned, or what is required in this assignment. So you tulis pasal, let's say, the language meaning, for instance, in your first language and your second language, for instance, it will not bring you any marks at all. Okay, understand? So I rasa the cut line is very clear. So I'm just, pinpointing the fine things in between lines. So you get what I mean? Because we have been working together for the past 14 weeks. You know my style, you know what I want. And basically guidelines are similar. Similar to one another. It's just the variation would be the nature of the assignment, but the rest of it lebih kurang sama. I have this. Even my evaluation criteria as well. This will be how I mark your paper. I will look at, of course, your content, the accuracy. Okay, the accuracy is whether the the information shared with you is accurate. Bukan accurate maksudnya bila you kata you belajar masa kindergarten or when you were 4 or 5 years. I'm not going to question that. The accuracy is on the discussion itself ataupun the way you justify or you explain. You explain lah. Basically, you explain. Macam I cakap tadi, the allophones, the phoneme, for instance, or the syllable or the stress placement that helps that actually you stressed certain syllable wrongly, it gives wrong something like that. Okay, but it must have something to do with consonant and or vowel. I would prefer consonant and vowels lah. Tapi kalau you tak betul-betul, oh, madam, I kalau consonant, I'm excellent. I memang tak pernah tersalah, but I have problems with vowels, then by all means, all vowels. So there will be marks allocation for this content, 30 marks. I would look at the depth of discussion, whether I think that this is so shallow or superficial ataupun not much, like I said, not much information is given, relevant information given. Jadi macam sebab mungkin you takut you terlebih. That's why you should draft your paper first. And then you potong lah mana yang tak berkenaan, ayat mana yang you boleh strengthen the sentences, put more information. So it's not just you tulis sekali terus hantar. macam gitu. It's a writing process juga in a way for you to yield a very good essay, to produce a very good essay. So, and please provide relevant examples. The content would definitely be mainly on the three problems and three solutions or recommendation. So it will be 30 marks there. Language, I will look at, grammar, mechanics, spelling, and etc. I do give quite high marks for language. I'm expecting because you can actually use you know features ataupun chat dekat ChatGPT ke. I don't know. I've never tried checking my grammar using ChatGPT, but I heard some did that. So Grammarly is free, but it will only point out the obvious ones lah. But try not to. So not to make any glaring mistakes. Sometimes there's no grammatical error, but that doesn't mean that there's no grammatical error. Always reread your sentences. Okay? Make sure that the language use is correct and it's not confusing. Because I got when you write in a complex or in complex sentences, you think that because I'm a Bachelor of English, oh, I write apa kelas kan, apa barang, tulis using simple sentences, writing in simple sentences. But actually, the longer you write, more mistakes will occur. And when you write a longer sentence, sometimes the ideas presented in the very long, complex sentence becomes unclear. So please address this as well. Make sure that your paper is simple, straightforward. Bukanlah simple mimple like hi, my name tak payah my name lah because dekat paper tu ada nama you. So I learned English, for instance, when I was 6 years old. I learned from school. Bukan ayat masuk I macam tu simple-simple. Macam gitulah. Okay? Okay, and organization of ideas. This is also a language aspects as well, and the presentation of data. Organization of ideas is coherence and cohesion. Coherence between your ideas and the flow in your paper ideas, and cohesion. Kalau you talk about issue number one, I'm not gonna limit you on how you can write. So it's up to you whether you want to present the three issues or problems first and then the three solutions or recommendations later, ataupun you want to do one problem or one issue with one solution or one recommendation, the second problem with with its solution or recommendation, and the third problem or issue with the third with its own solution or recommendation. It's up to you, as long as your ideas are organized and consistent. Okay, so another 15 marks over there. And of course, I'm going to penalize you for your word count, but literally, this is how your paper is going to be evaluated. Okay, yang ni please include this table at the end of your assignment ni, because I love to have a sample paper. So this one I will share. I akan letak separate paper. I will upload two things. Satu kat line, satu sample paper. Sample paper ni nanti I akan delete sample paper because I rasa sakit hati. Bila student submit, ada perkataan sample paper. It means that you couldn't even bother to, not just this subject lah, kalau other subject, because I love to give them sample template. I tulis template ke, but they couldn't be bothered to delete it before submitting. So yeah, this one I will definitely share with you without these wordings, sample paper ni. Nanti I delete and I akan share only this paper yang ni lah, yang ni tak kira pun I akan delete later. Type here to start here lah maksud I. So this is it. Please write your full name, your metric number. So in the introduction, you don't have to introduce yourself, so you can save, wordings there. So this is just a suggested or suggestion on how you can write your paper. Of course, the first is introduction, where you discuss when did you learn formally, or you provide information when you formally learn English language. Is it your first or your second language? What is your first language if it's not your first language? And then you can straight away start with your discussion, because I think paragraph 2 or paragraph 3 or paragraph 4, 5, so the number of paragraph are up to you as well. How many paragraph that you would like? Let's say you would like to have 10 paragraph, 10 short paragraphs. By all means, go ahead, as long as mungkin you nak letak satu point, satu paragraph. No problem, because paragraph did not affect the word count kan. So ikut you lah. Tapi I tak nak dalam point form. It must be in full sentences. Please do not write point form. Okay, point form, no point form. Discussion, so it's up to you lah how you want to do it. So this one I tulis saja lah for the sake of the briefing, but there are other variation of how you can write it. So I leave it to you. And the last one is conclusion. Conclusion tu satu je. Satu sahaja. Satu sahaja ayat yang lengkap pun tak apa conclusion. Conclusion just ayat menutup, and you don't have to literally repeat all. It's just say that mungkin you can say something like, maybe because after you have learned phonetics and phonology or introduction to languages and linguistics, you are able to approach the issues effectively or something like that. Just conclusion is up to you. So mine asked, Madam, is it possible to increase the word limit? No, I have done similar essay like this before. Introduction just satu sentence, full sentences or 2 sentences, and then the same with conclusion as well. It doesn't add up that much. 5 to 6, no, actually literally 6 lah. Student akan tulis sampai 6. 600 words enough. It's enough. So how you need to, this is how you demonstrate your writing skills lah. Tapi sepanjang I mark similar essays, not this particular essay, tapi similar essay like this yang I required, let's say 5 things to put into consideration, let's say, with introduction and conclusion, rarely, sangat jarang. I rasa sepanjang ni tak pernah lagi kot orang exceed 600 words. They always manage to write everything within 600 words. So I don't think that it is necessary for us to increase the word limit. 300 patah perkataan pun dah banyak that you can, that's why I said do not discuss unnecessary things that is not even relevant to the essay. Do not exceed 600 words, and that's it. If you write more than that, I'm not going to read past 600 threshold. Past 600 words, I'm not going to read. Okay, this one macam biasalah, I dah letak siap-siap kat sini, so it's easy for me to mark, and that's it. 600 words are a lot, actually. A lot. You just need to do some division and adjust lah mana-mana. So final conclusion is not a big conclusion, and it's just a sentence would be okay to indicate that. That's it. 600 words. Okay, so it's a challenge jugalah for you too. Bukan you just rambling about talking about those days, those olden day, golden days, olden days, those old days, and reminiscing about it. No, just straightforward. What would be the issue? Do you have any questions? Anybody has any questions?
As for now, no, madam.
No. As for now, no. Okay. So if there's no more questions, I'm going to upload this in a jiffy. Let's say you can have a look at it. Let's say check again our clip around 3:15. All clear. Very good, Rafita. Check again after 3:15 today. So I'm gonna upload it right after this briefing session with the new deadline. So if that's if there's no more questions, I would like to thank everybody for attending this briefing session. Um, I think that when you read this, it's clear on what you need to do. It's just that I berpesan-pesan kan, what you should do and what you shouldn't do. Berpesan-pesan lah. Okay. So if there's no more question, thank you so much. Okay. Um, Inshallah, this Thursday you need to submit your assignment on Hello from Around the World. And next week on Sunday, you need to submit your final assessment pula. Okay? Okay. Ta-da!